Nearly did it right in the right flow, and I just remembered to do the unmute button, so that's good. Good morning, Kathy. How are you? First off the rank this morning. Wonderful to see you. We're here for our usual 5-card spread reading of the Lenormand cards that I have here because that's what I'm using, as you can see in a minute. And how are you this morning, Jenny? Lovely to see you here too. I'm going to get straight into the reading this morning because I realised I've been going a bit longer over the 15 minutes I've normally wanted to leave it at fairly regularly lately, so I don't want to keep waffling on. And good morning, Shaz, and good morning, Sharon, and we have 2 Sharons in a row again on my screen in the list. It's funny. I love it. I love it. Now, if you're needing to have any more in-depth readings, that's what hang on, I've got to get that right. This is where it's fun doing this, rolling it along like it's a horsey and going along. I don't ride horses, so I ask my daughter. Alice is the horsey one, and no, I didn't ever like riding horses. She found that out, or even helping with them, but that's all right. So do connect with me via those methods, and we'll take that down now so that I had it going all the time yesterday without realising. We'll switch around the cards. Now, do remember it is a general card spread reading, as in I'll interpret it in what is my intuitive senses or whatever I'm receiving and the rest, but what you need to do is take up what you're sensing from it. Okay, rather chilly. It was down a 5. I looked out and the grass it has got the frozen. It's got that sheen of frost on it. Oh, still in bed. I wish I was to a degree, but then I can't do these shows, can I? Not from, no, it'd be a bit hard from bed. I'd have to actually just do it from a photo, not actually on a table, because this is on a table. It is bare at the moment because I've switched around the tables. It's not the timber one. It is the fold-up one I use for market days. And for crafts, actually, you'll see that because it's got the little squares, makes it very easy and good fun for crafts. So, lining up things, obviously. Now, I'm just going to switch that around. See, no, actually I'm not, because I like the music thing at the back of my head there. I like that look of my background. So I'm going to leave it there. You'll have a lot of my profile in this probably. Or I'm at just slightly different angle. This card table being a bit bigger, this table being a bit bigger, I've sort of got to somehow switch around a bit differently to not knock it like I just did. And I did it again. Right, the usual spread as in the layout. We've got the work energy here where anchor is. We've got the home energy around that the ship is in, the home space and energy. We've got bear sitting in that unexpected position. Ring is in your role, and we've got coffin as the outcome. Interesting spread when I first put it down, because it does go in the order of 1, 2, 3 up the top, 4, I'm trying to guess where these are, and 5. So the first 2 cards were ships, like to do with the water and the ships, and here we've got the anchor that holds a ship in place when, steady when it's out on the water. Now, it is holding us steady. It's something that we're actually putting some work into our workspace because it's where it's sitting, and having to keep it monitored, and where when that chain is dragging on an anchor, we do need to pull it up and reposition the boat and drop it again to keep the same space and place of where we're actually sitting. For those of you that have been fishing out in the sea and the in rough waters and whatnot, you wouldn't be fishing in rough waters, but you would certainly know the reality of drift and stuff like that, even with an anchor. So it's needing that monitoring, and that's what I'm actually feeling with having anchor in the workspace position today. It's you certainly drop the anchor where it needs to be settled for the day, but keep an eye on what sort of a drift, that you're not moving away too far from that focus and the point of view, the points, the project, the focus of work that you're actually on. So that's what I'm feeling today, right? So it is going to take a little bit of work to work that. But it's doable, of course, because that's what the tool of the anchor is. It holds us in place for long enough to do what we need to. If we need to tweak it, you lift it, go back, realign, all that sort of functionality in it. It does give you flexibility and portability, just saying. And what we've got here is the ship in the home space. So it's almost like there is that freedom, as I've mentioned here, the flexibility with the anchor as the tool. We've got very much a flexibility with this ship of the air. It's not even limited by the water that it's sitting in and how far the water actually is, whether it's a huge ocean, whether it's a small river or a lake or something. So we've actually got all possibilities in the direction that we can be going. And in the home space, that can be the relationships that we have around us in the family that we've got. Or it could just be to do with something that we're going to be planning as far as a travel, because it does give that wonderful feeling and sense of freedom. Because it's like one of those ships that are the old style buccaneer type ships that we can go and travel the world anywhere. Put your arms up and go, wow, anywhere is possible. And it almost feels like that's something to prepare for now, that there is going to be that freeing up. So if you were planning holidays before all of the coronavirus pandemic issues and everything sort of hit and closed us down, I'm feeling, it's not going to be the end. It's not going to be the end of the, well, not the end of the world. The end of the world. It's not going to be the be all and end all that it's going to last forever. It's going to end, is what I'm trying to say. The end is coming up for that sort of restriction, everything to be all encompassing, that we can actually start to plan some of what we're wanting to do. Yes, it's probably going to be the next year. But you never, as far as how the restrictions are in place and everything, it's closing the borders of our states, but it's not closing the state completely. Travel around a little bit and discover what is your own space in the state that you live in. That's what I'm sort of feeling with that. But it's also at the time of, taking some time to plan what is your bigger plan. That's what I'm feeling around this for today. Okay. And what we've got here is bear in that unexpected. So there will probably be those few moments in the day that you're going, and it could be little expanded times, like it could be an hour or two here or there, a couple of times in the day. I'm feeling a couple, why I don't know, but expect that there's going to be those, just those little itty bitty tougher times that you've got to really put some oomph into, because the bear is strength. You're needing to actually access your strength, and that's what I'm feeling with this at the moment, seeing bear in your day. Always worthwhile, because you can do it. The bear can do it, so you'll know that you can do it. You're just needing to put that strength and get that happening in the day. So it will pop up a couple of times. That's my sense of it, is the couple of times, not just the once and be done with it. Does feel like it's a couple. And what I'm feeling here with the ring is that sense of commitment to yourself. This is in your role, so you need to be committing that dedication, that self best. Oops, forgot to turn off my thingies. Self best, so you're needing to actually be true to self is what I'm feeling with that. It's that cycle. Yes, sometimes we think, why am I doing this again? Why do I have to do this again? It feels like that never-ending cycle of the why is it repeating? Well, you know yourself best. If you're still doing something the same way and expecting a different result, it's that type of thing that I'm feeling. Just look inside to, in that inner you, to just say, what is it that I'm meant to be learning in this, whatever the problem is, whatever the issue is, whatever that relationship connection is with someone. What is it I'm meant to be learning? What can I do differently? Ask yourself that question, and to give that continuity and moving forward in that cycle, so that you are actually moving that energy, so that it's bringing you into that growth and moving your work, your home situation, ahead into the direction that you want it to be. And that can be some, as far as when you're in a boat in like this type of a thing, we do need to steer them. We've got to give it the direction we want to go. So even though it feels like going around in circles, give it that direction so that you can, have that focus. And it is your role to do this. It's not going to be anyone else's. So direct it as you want it. And especially because of Bear being there and needing to have some of that work being your work. So it is relevant. As far as the outcome goes, when I saw coffin, I sort of thought, oh, really? What is it that by the end of the day, as I look at this one as being by the end of the day, we can actually see that sort of result of what we're doing. And I just remembered seeing your comment there, Teresa. Hi, how are you? Hope this is meaning something for you. Take what I'm explaining in this spread reading as you're reading, Teresa, because I don't do the individualised ones at this 8 o'clock session. That's for a Friday evening one that Leanne and I do, and sometimes I do pop in ad hoc at any point in time. Not often, but I have done that. Just keep your eye out for other readers too that might be on the My Time at any point. Rebecca does have a regular show as well. Okay, so just back to the coffin. It's not necessarily a death, but it feels like something has completed and finished at the end of the day. So whether it's that project or what you've got in your workspace that's happening, you can feel in that rest. As much as a coffin feels like it's almost a permanent rest and you're moving on to something new, because it could be that that's what you are doing. You've completed something definitely that's moving on now. There's a cut-off and that's passed into its history, and you're starting something new, and could be the direction of something in the home space that's going to be moving it out of what it currently is. Hence, by the end of the day, you're going to feel that it's a completion, and that is actually going to be its history moving into something new. Whether it's even new plans for the holiday that you might have been going to create, that you're now going to do something further that's even closer to home, or, for the times that we're in, or it's going to be a big one that you're going to plan for when everything is clear and ready to move around the world again, even. So, sorry for how you're feeling, Kerry Ann. I can see that you're over on my Ros Bounty page. Sending healing love to you. Wellness. Think positives. Wellness. Trying to watch the replay. At the moment, we are still live, Kerry Ann and Karen. Good morning to you too. Wonderful to see you here as well. So as far as a bit of a summary around the spread, we really are steadying our ship, moving it wherever we desire. We're going to be needing to put in that little bit of work for ourselves that is, those unexpected moments, but we're going to be able to do that with that dedication to self, that commitment to self, and knowing what we want to have as our direction in life, which is why I feel that there is you can put your anchor down in your workspace, and it's not necessarily always just that workspace and the home space. It's the connection of all of these energies that make us who we are in our daily life as well. Don't forget. So feeling that by the end of the day, we really have got a sense of completion in some sense with something that's happened in our day. So just have that awareness as you rest in the evening tonight. And for those who are just starting their evening, who are still in their evening over, because we do have Canadians, Americans, sometimes the British, it is a global world. It really is. So wherever you are, just take the cards in the context of what's moving around you at the moment. And glad I said that. Good morning, Sarah. And also for Lisa, who actually is in New York. upstate New York. And I've missed that comment because my mouse and finger, the comments moved at the wrong time. So in upstate New York, this is something that I find really interesting as far as when 6:45, yeah. As far as our language goes and how we actually interpret other ways of what we're hearing someone say or reading what they write, looking here at what Lisa's written, watching live in upstate New York. For me as a country girl in South Australia, seeing upstate, I presume that NY is New York, that's an assumption, but I dare say it's probably correct. But what is upstate? I mean, it's something that in the vastness of what our country is in Australia, the term upstate isn't actually used much that I've noticed. Even when you come into conversation and someone's mentioning downtown, as far as a term goes, I'm assuming that's the city centre, but I don't know because we do have that missing context of where we live and what is usual in our space and place. I find it just so intriguing because language really is such an amazing it is amazing, the words that we can use and how we interpret them and how easy it is to misunderstand them, especially as you're watching so much. Well, not that I am, because I don't watch the news or anything else on TV, actually, except NCIS. I just love that program. But it is what it is. Yeah, and language is one of those weird things. It's why I really like the cards. And what I'm doing now is showing what I've got coming up in interpreting cards and reading your cards an intuitive way. It is the course. Oops, hang on. I wasn't wanting solo. I actually wanted that one to be like this so I can be at the side. It's starting this Wednesday night, which is only tomorrow night. So that's 7:30 my time, Adelaide. And this is the link that goes to booking to do that with me for the one, for the each weekly. But I have actually put in the link now for the $100, which is the bundle for the 4 weeks. It gives you a reduction in the price of that course. It's the 4 weeks and it starts on Wednesday night. So I thought, well, I'd just pop those links in there because with BeLive, we've got this wonderful tool now that can actually place the links automatically in the chat stream that you're seeing. So you can go and click on that and book it in, pay for whatever is being sold, or, the selling arrangement in BeLive Studio 2. I love it. Gives a bit of convenience for you. So I thought, well, I'd put those up there today. And because it's tomorrow night, I will be closing off the joining in with that at 6:30. So long as you've got your book, the payment made through the Shopify site by the 6:30, and then after that it gets closed off. I look forward to actually doing these because it's just a great interaction via Zoom, but it's so similar to doing it like this. So that's what, yeah, do you mean the centre of New York City? I've just got to find, yeah, okay. I'm just going to highlight this one. So, yes, New York, and downstate New York is like New York City. Okay, so when it's upstate, it's away from the New York City. Because I know there's New York State and New York City, isn't it? So, and here we've got, Sharon's actually asking the centre of New York City, and when people are here in New York, they picture New York City, where the Statue of Liberty is. Upstate New York is hours away from the actual city. Yep. Thanks for clarifying that, Lisa. It's a great way to actually interact, to learn a little bit more about where everyone is from, because we are a big wide world, and it's wonderful to see people here from all over and in different time zones. And tomorrow morning at about 2 or 3 in the morning, I'll be lively awake and watching a live stream class that I've signed up for because it's US time. Yeah, just all the different things that we can be involved in. It's great, isn't it? Fantastic technology. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah, so you've said, yeah. Thank you. Great stuff. Yeah, so if anyone really wants to get into more of the cards, and the one that I do starting tomorrow night for that 4 weeks is, it's not just the Lenormand deck that I use, it's lots of others. It's the tarot. We have a brief look at a lot. So looking forward to that. Now, I'm going to leave that there tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and I notice I've gone over the 20 minutes again. I'm trying to keep them at about the 15 because I know time can be precious for some of us, especially when we go to work this morning, etc. So thank you for being present here. Thank you for sharing it around with your friends that you feel this is relevant for, and I'll be here in the morning at 8 o'clock again tomorrow. And namaste until then. I've got to put that one up before I go. Thank you, Karen. Bye for now.